So you've been playing a lot of Starfield?
Yeah, it's just Skyrim all over again, dude. Literally, I'm playing on the PC, so like I can fine tune the graphics more. I'm trying to like beef it so much so that my PC barely makes sound. I can get just right there before the anxiety hits, and then tell myself it's all right. I can handle it. I honestly, I think my PC is good. Like my setup is good, though, because but it's been like 5 years since I got it. I mean, it's still running this. Okay, I hear the Okay, I'm lying. I hear the occasional like scraping, but it's occasional, and it's very light too. It's not like it's full on. Starfield is fun.
It definitely grinds its gears from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. It just scratches the itch. I don't know. It scratches a bunch of itches. They're just not just my motherboard. It actually physically or emotionally scratches the itch for me. Of just like all the choices and the combat is actually kind of, it could be better, but I honestly was expecting Skyrim, and I was very, very I'm very satisfied. I'm on like day 2. It's weird because it doesn't show you by hours. It shows you by like days, how many days you've played so far. So like 48. What? No, I could be bullshitting. I'm still figuring it out.
Speaking of Skyrim, I think that I think the next installment was confirmed that it's not going to be on PS5. At least not at first. I think that's going to be the same thing with Starfield. Like it might come out, but just not for a long while. Like how Tomb Raider was on Xbox for a year and then we got it.
Every good game does not stay an exclusive. There's no need to be jealous. We're all going to play the game sooner or later. Sooner or later, yeah, like we'll be getting it. Right now, PC is king because of Games Pass for PC. Meanwhile, PlayStation Plus is like hiking its prices and giving different tiers.
Oof. Yeah, it's going up by a lot too. Like normally, I think the regular was $60, and now it's going to be $80. Premium, which was $119, that's going to be like $140 now. So I think that one went up by like $20 extra, which is the one I got. That one was $99 when it came out, and now that one's going to be $119. I don't know if I'll put into Ring Up for Plus, or if I might just start really grinding and then get a PC built. I think that's probably the move at this point. Based off what you can do and what a lot of other people can do, there's so much versatility. I'm honestly just in it for the mods. That's like my number one thing. Yeah, dude, I would just love to replay a whole bunch of games that I've just come to enjoy and love and just play them again with mods.
Definitely.
Like, I think that would be great.
It's like I don't want to talk about fucking piracy, so I'm not. But like the fact that like you want to play your old games, like your old like Pokemon games, or your old like and like any game from like the Nintendo 64 all the way to like the PS4, Xbox 360 era. Sorry. Like the older the games are, the more expensive they're going to become, because of the nostalgic factor actually adds more value. You're going to want it more because it reminds you of when you were little, or you want to play it again. And really, there's no other way to play it. Maybe buying it legitimately online and playing it on the PC, but that emulation comes in at that, and then it gets kind of rocky.
Yeah, because then at that point you're at the mercy of like collectors, people who like to like stake a whole bunch of stuff for themselves. What do you call them?
Scalpers, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a craving. You used to have something at the palm of your hand, like a Game Boy game, just so easily being able to just like download it to your phone, because it doesn't cost a lot.
It really
doesn't take a lot. And it's just like, yeah, of course, that's something that we would like. And I think that Nintendo's doing a good job at like starting to put a lot of it out. Like they finally gave us the Game Boy. We're slowly getting some good Game Boy games. The
emulators the Nintendos are giving out too. That's kind of an answer to what I'm trying to get at too, where like they know people want these games, so they'll emulate the games for the communities. It's already too late, There's already people out there just ripping the game files from the Game Boy cartridge and putting it online. But Nintendo's doing that quote unquote legally now. So with the emulators they put out for like in the Nintendo store, that's probably like an answer for that. And if like PlayStation Now as well, and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I don't want to pay money just to like, I want to own the game, I don't want to pay money to like just play the game for like 5 minutes. I don't want to pay like, what is it? What's PlayStation Now? Like
Yeah, and then of course, like, things are so tentative too. Like, for now, like, you have to have a really good internet connection. And I'm not just talking about good, I mean really good, because you're just constantly streaming. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to pay like $20 to play like 5 minutes of a game. You probably won't pick up until later. That's usually like the time span it takes for somebody like us who have like ADD or stuff like that to like pick that up, just because we remember and we just have just such the big urge to play it. And then we set it down and don't pick it up again until maybe like next year. I want it to be there, but I don't want to pay $20 just to activate my memory again. Like, reactivate my own brain.
yeah, just to get your fix.
Yeah, for real.
No, and I totally agree with that. I think that's part of the biggest reason why, people, and they do it for the sake of preservation. And I'm like a big believer of that. It's like, you bought the game, you technically own the game is yours, you're just preserving it onto your computer. That's all you're doing. I'm not sure, like, Nintendo's not going to be knocking on my door for a copy of the receipt that my mom bought, but it's all the same. I just think that's like, I think it's a good thing that it's not like super hard to find these things, like if somebody really wanted it, you can just kind of go out and get it. You just have to kind of be careful what you type into Google. It's not the end of the world. I guess that's the best way I would put it.
Yeah, it may be time to let go of some of these kind of things.
The moments where you do get to play them, and then you're kind of like, oh, this isn't what I like remembered it to be, and then you kind of just drop the idea altogether, or like the feeling just kind of goes away. That's kind of happened to me a lot for some of the nostalgic games that I picked up again or started trying again after a while.
Yeah, that's also another thing to take into account. Like, how deep is it for you to where you actually want the game, versus like you just want to play the game just to like it's interesting, and like you never played it before, but you think you'll actually enjoy it, and you don't want to pay like the $20 service or a month to just like keep it going. It's $100 a year, or some other different online plays like that.
You know how like they recently came out with like the remade Atari, the remade Sega Genesis. Like, it would not surprise me that because our younger generation had like the pinnacle of like the handheld games, that we're just really going to come back full circle. I strongly believe it.
I believe it too.
They're going to make it seem like honestly it was the best idea to go right back into it. Like, hey, we're just going to redecide everything that we're doing, and we're going to like, no, we asked you to do this, but it's fine. You can make it your idea as long as you just bring it out before I die. I'm not trying to wait another like 40, 50, 60 years before you finally decide on a good idea that we all thought of.
I don't know how to like judge whether or not how big a game can fit on like a little microchip cartridge that you can put like on a Game Boy or something. I'm pretty sure that's a market for like most indie games that don't really take that much space, that you can literally just put on a cartridge and play it like that. Like, that would also be it'd be an incentive to actually start remaking stuff like that as well. Remasters of old pixelated games, just like cleaned up a bit,
or even new, because there's like they have HD sprites, basically like Blaze Blue. I can see some Blaze Blue remakes, not literally Blaze Blue, but like games that are remade like Blaze Blue looks. Blaze Blue was on the fucking PSP. It was on the DS at one point, I'm sure. Like, it looks good enough for it to have all of that going. So I'm sure like if something like that could be, of good quality, of high quality, and could be done on handheld, then we can also get that same sort of result from like remakes, remasters. Like, I think a lot of things that would draw in would be like an OG, like, it's so stupid, but like an OG Pokemon.
Just remaking it into a little cartridge style. I think that's where I miss the most, where you could just blow on a cartridge and put it in physically.
It just fixes anything and everything.
Yeah, for real.
Gosh, I remember that. That's probably the dominant of like basically like the physical of games. And that sentence doesn't make sense, but let me explain what I mean. I mean, like, if you think about it, we went from cartridges to CDs to like Blu-rays. Things like the Switch, it still basically went back to the cartridge. Probably the more better of like what you can use in a format for video games. I guess the only downside is like you take Blu-ray and you don't have like as much space, but at the same time they have digital downloads now, so I don't really see that being an issue anymore.
I don't think we're even done with physical media yet. Yeah, I get digital is the most popular form of media right now, But if it's over for the physical media, then whatever, I'll tip my hat. But I feel like there's still a lot more room. Imagine the Game Boy being released now, but how like technologically advanced it would be versus like the 90s.
Do you remember the retail price of a Game Boy back in the day?
I don't think so. I do not.
It was $200. Like, I've seen them like on Instagram and stuff like that. People who just like mod their old Game Boys and stuff like that. Put like HD screens, the backlights. Replace the battery with the lithium and the USB-C ports. So, like, really just, like, next-genning their Game Boy. I would imagine that they're going to charge probably anywhere between $300, maybe $350. I'll tell you what I've been getting into recently, though. Really trying to, like, break down old stuff, like controllers and video games, like consoles, like the handhelds and stuff, and just, like, customizing them. Like, just trying to see if I can figure out how to mod them myself. I have all of my tools. Like, I actually have been fixing a lot of controllers. I have the tools to fix them, but not the tools to customize them. The whole setup did my little shopping cart. It's, like, around $300. So I feel like once I get all that started, I can just pick, like, a day, like Sunday or Monday, like those, like, days off, or just chill. Do some chores, whatever, and then just like find some time to just go outside and sand down some plastic, paint it, see what kind of things I want. I want to do stencils and stuff too.
That's a gig right there. You thought about like a 3D printing?
Yes, actually. So it's like two parts, like the 3D printer to do the symbols.
Yeah.
Right, that you use for the buttons. You can also use the 3D printer to make the mold too, and then you use the epoxy, so that you basically use the little symbols, put epoxy, you let it set, and then you can like do like a little background if you want, and just kind of like make the buttons custom. So I really, really want to get nitty gritty with it, man. Like I'm really trying to go all in, but I feel like that's pretty much the same for everybody when they finally get around to a hobby that they really enjoy.
Yeah.
Just get really curious. You spend hours doing that.
I bought a Metal Gear Rex model. It's a pretty big model. I'm afraid to open it because once I open it, it's going to be an all-day kind of thing.
Dude, yeah. It's going to take a lot of time.
For real, like, I'm going to have to... If I could do it all in one day, I would. Like, I got to open the box and just look at how many pieces there are just so I can... It comes with a little old snake. It's adorable.
Do you already have, like, your kit? Like, you have, like, the snippers, the glue, the sandpaper, like, all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's all in a pouch that, like, it's all ready to go. I just have to open this table that I have and just sit my ass down and go to work. But it's gonna be, like, an on and off thing because I can't, like, stay seated unless I'm, like, I don't know, really, really baked. And then I start doing it.
Once you open it, it's gonna stay as a permanent spot on your desk until you're done with it.
Exactly. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to like leave it out like that, just so like I can just sit down and come back to it. I was also thinking about maybe streaming it, but I haven't been streaming in a while. I've been supporting these group of streamers that so kindly invited me into their ranks, popping in chat every once in a while, just saying, "Hey, what's up?" Oh yeah, the Boonie Tribe, shout out. It's always good when there's a community of gamers that are like just radiating positive energy like 24/7. Yeah, even though I don't show up a lot, I'm more of a lurker, but it is what it is. I'm still there. I'm watching, subbing here and there. I just gotta sit my ass down and play my stuff. I don't want to stream Starfield because it's like that's a personal thing. I have a personal love with Skyrim. Like I said, Starfield is just like hitting all the right spots with the ship customization, with the outpost creation, down to like the weapon mods. I'm like all in on this right now. Like I've only hopped on Destiny and GTA like today for like a couple of minutes, and then I just left to play Starfield.
Oh, legit for a couple minutes?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Yeah, like I hop on Destiny to do like the weekly missions and stuff, and then like I grinded a little bit to find the rest of the cards for the season, and then I hopped off that. I went on GTA. You know how when we started playing, we just like, we have to get into private lobbies? I'm all about public lobbies now, dude. Just because the shit that people say, man, it's like the most vile, like toxic shit. It makes me laugh so much, dude.
I usually just hear loud ass kids, man.
Dude, there's one guy that I'll get into it later, bro. But it was such a funny time, dude. Just people talking shit to each other. And then I got back into Starfield.
You're just like, okay, well, time to go back.
Yeah, dude. literally all I've been doing. I'm not even trying to beat the story, but it's like either I gotta beat the story already just so I can like unlock everything, and then it goes to like the attitude of I want to explore all the planets, so let me start from this side.
Does it keep you up at night? Do you ever like do something in the game and right when it's your bedtime you're like, okay, let me do this really quick, and right when you're done doing it you're like, okay, I should go to bed, but I can also do this really fast before I go to bed, and then just go right on to do the next thing for about 4 more hours?
I had 2 no call no shows this month at work because of this game. I like to blame it on this game.
Gerry.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun, dude. What can I say?
Oh, it's fun, alright.
It's like a good time, like vanilla. I'm having a fun time vanilla. I can only imagine, like, they done put Skyrim in fucking Starfield, bro. I saw that in a mod. I'm like, I love it. Yeah, everything is I'm on break from everything right now. Like you don't understand. I wake up, if I'm not going to work or getting ready for work or eating, I'm playing Starfield. I haven't been on the chat in a while because I've been on the PC. It's fun and it looks nice too, especially with Neon City. Fucking gives you cyberpunk vibes like crazy. It makes me want to play cyberpunk, but then in order to play that, I would have to stop playing Starfield, and I don't want to do that.
I didn't even remember until just now that the DLC for Cyberpunk came out.
I recently rewatched Edge Runners, like a couple of episodes, and it just watching that show just makes me want to hop in Cyberpunk and just start a character. Yeah, I just the whole vibe of the place. Like, what's the DLC gonna be about? Like, I heard of it's coming out, but I don't know if it's gonna be like a new story or if they're just adding costumes or what's going on.
It's like a detour before the end of the game because it's still linear. There's no like after the game is over. The game is just over once you get to the end. The DLC is about you helping. I think he's a detective. It's Idris Elba. Basically needing your help to like figure out some bullshit that's happening in Night City. I think you end up going to a different map actually. So you go to a different city. The more important thing about that DLC, they added a lot of like balance patches. Before this DLC, the game, you could say, looked like GTA, like smelled like GTA, played like GTA, but wasn't really feeling like GTA. The update for the balance, now they've added more things like the police AI, like the wanted level, you can like shoot and drive at the same time now. Like a lot of things that kind of...
Wait, you couldn't shoot and drive before?
You could, well, only if you weren't driving. Overall, I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be good.
Like I said with Starfield, I'm still expecting like Fallout, Skyrim logic with physics and all that. Except with cars, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. I don't know if they've had cars or any sort of movable objects besides horses in like Skyrim or if anything like that in Fallout. I feel like cars are kind of hard to program in a buggy physics world. It could be just me. I don't know. I'm not a game dev, but it feels like more time would need to be taken in order to not have the car just fucking rocket everywhere just because the geometry is off. Like I'm expecting like the horse bug in Skyrim where I think you exit out of the menu in like some way, and all of a sudden your horse just starts flying, like just it non-stop flying until you move the camera, and then it just stops and you fall to your death. Like you start in like for example, you start at Markarth, the left side of the map, and then you fly and you hit all the way to Whiterun. Please don't fix it.
Right? I don't know how long it'll be before it gets patched. Like for a lot of the like really fun things that are going on right now, but I hope like I could just manage to get my hands on it one way or another, before
I haven't had any glitches, like major glitches. I've only had like the facial thing, the weird fucking facial thing where they look at you at a certain angle and their eyelids are fucking non-existent.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But then like they pop back in. I don't know. I think it's like it might be like the console or whoever's taking it, like whoever's console or system they're using to play the game. I think it's like it might be the system settings. It's pretty seamless, of course, there are some people it's kind of annoying when you're talking to somebody and then somebody like pushes you and you just start moving, or they walk into the camera frame and they just disappear. Like I said, that's Skyrim physics. Like NPC's gonna NPC. You watch the One Piece live action?
I have seen episode 1. I have not seen any more than that, but I'm planning on watching more. There were moments where I caught myself saying, like, this is not canon. I had to kind of, like, stop and be like, okay, like, not canon, but still makes sense. This is still good. And it was challenging for me at first because, obviously, it was really, like, weird for me to see all of this, like, live action.
No, no doubt about it. There's that little bit of cringe in there where it's like, oh, I actually like this, but I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, well, like after some of the discussion that we had with Danny, I would have to watch the rest of it for myself, but I would probably say enjoy most of it. It's enjoyable. Let me just stop myself. I would say it's enjoyable.
I actually really liked it because I went in with the attitude of a Netflix live action, an anime with a Netflix live action series. I went in with that attitude, thinking that it's just gonna be absolute horseshit. Like, what is this goddamn Spike Spiegel bullshit? Because of that, I think that's why I like it. There's gonna be a lot of creative liberties in this because it's Netflix. You know, they're just gonna do whatever the hell they want. Whoever had those liberties definitely knew where to put them. I know Danny doesn't really like Usopp. That is not Usopp. We all know that's not Usopp. That's some other dude. That's just some other dude who looks like Usopp. That's just another random ass character. They just took out Usopp and put in this dude.
I mean, he's gonna matter later. He's just not mattering now.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly how Usopp was in the beginning too. When we first introduced him, nobody liked this dude. Later, he becomes God Usopp. I read somewhere that it was slated they wanted 6 seasons of this shit because it did so good. But that's a lot because there are a lot of ups and downs. Me personally, you know how I feel about Skypiea. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that. You know, it's gonna be a lot of things where we don't know how they're gonna pull off if it does go off.
I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but I was talking about this with Danny in the chat. We were discussing basically like the way that the pace moves in the anime. I understand if he were here, he'd be like, yes, they move that way so they don't have to have too many fillers. I get that, but
shout out my boy Django.
Right, exactly. You had the same experience that I did. Like recently Gear 5 came out and they finally animated it, and the episode where they show Gear 5 was a great episode.
You mean like fucking like 10 scenes and then the rest of it just repeated those scenes?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
And I understand to do that to set the story pace. I didn't expect you to do that for fights that we actually give a shit. Like, I don't remember them doing that with Don Flamingo versus Luffy with Gear 4. Watching the same fucking Gear 4 transformation 8 times before he actually moves. You know what I mean? Like, it was just more like, okay, I'm going to move now. There's just pace, you know? So this is not a good call, I feel.
For the Gear 5?
Oh, yeah, for that. But more importantly for the anime. Because, again, they're just going to keep repeating scenes. And I like that, obviously, the live action isn't going to be doing that. They're not just going to keep rehashing the same scenes like last time on One Piece. And then just say, like, this is what happened. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be spending another, you know, out of the 30 or 40 minutes we get per episode, 15 minutes is not just going to be like fucking recalling what we just went over in the last episode. It's a streaming service.
The first 10 minutes are just rehashing what happened in the previous episode. The animation for the reveal of Gear 5, it was like, I kind of understand the repeated scenes because in the manga there's not really like a whole lot of oompa for the reveal. It's just like, hey, here he is. They go into detail about who he is and what the fruit really is and stuff. I guess like in the anime they tried to extend the time for that to like a whole 30 minutes, and I guess that was really hard to do. The animation quality was kind of weird, honestly. Most of the time I don't know what the hell was happening on the screen, which is, I think honestly it's fair because most of that's One Piece with most of the battles on the manga. Like there's a lot of shit happening where you kind of guessing. I think that's a body. That's Luffy, right? Yeah, I think that's Luffy. And and everything was happening really fast too, you know. So they tried their best, but it didn't look their best for the reveal of Gear 5.
To be fair, I don't know a lot of like these producers and graphic artists and like scene editors and like all this like all these famous people that they try to bring in to do this episode, and the battle choreographers for Wano and like all this other stuff. And like, I get it. I guess to somebody it's going to look absolutely amazing, like give it an award or whatever the case is, but all the same I don't think it was necessary. Gear 5 could have been in its own pure essence something beautiful if you had just spent more time on filling out scenes rather than actually making sure that the scene itself looked good. I don't even want to say quality over quantity. You know what I mean? Because I think there's quality in the fact that you could have finished out the scenes more. You could have fleshed them out more versus just making them look special.
Like, literally, the whole episode was literally just him dancing around and stuff. And then cut to, like, beating Kaido's ass, Kaido fighting back, and then him dancing again. I'm like, alright, man, like, this isn't really how intense the feeling would have been when I read it. Because when I read it, I was like, yo, this guy just turned goofy. And all the internet exploded, dude. Twitter had like, yo, Gear 5 trending. I'm like, bro, what is happening here? This went Looney Tune. And then the anime came out, and it's like, yeah, that's what it looks like, I guess. It just didn't give that much. Now, like, are you caught up with the manga?
I'm not on 92, but yes, I'm basically caught up.
Well, it's like, it's gonna be like, they're showing it more than once, and I'm kind of like, more than one transformation of Gear 5, like, it makes me feel like it's not gonna be, like, they show Gear 5 more than once, I feel like it's not as cracked up as it should be, because I feel like if he's having a stupid power like that, I feel like there's gotta be some limits, like how it was when he first learned Gear 3rd, with Tiny Luffy, once he's, like, done with blowing himself up. It's gotta be used more sparingly, I would say. If it's really like that as all is cracked up to be, I wouldn't think Luffy would just keep using it just because of anime rules. Like, you never use your full power over some little scuffle. In this case though, I would just say just read the chapter, and then I'll probably, everything I said will probably just be null and void, and he probably like needed to do it.
I mean, he's fighting Kizaru, right? Just for as far as sake is not spoiling things go, but Kizaru is definitely not anybody to sneeze at, you know what I mean? So yeah. I feel like the situation could be warranted for these kind of moments. If he's definitely like fighting like one of Blackbeard's like lieutenants or something like that, like not even somebody from like the main crew of Blackbeard, then yeah, he's not gonna go like Gear 5. He's probably gonna let Zoro or somebody handle it.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So like, I guess right now it is warranted to the fact that he has to go goofy just to fight Adam Sandler, but it is what it is, dude. At this point, I'm like, give me everything you got, Oda. Like, you're so close to finishing. Maybe then I'll probably finally get the tattoo. I feel like the tattoo is like a medal for be like, you made it this far.
I don't know exactly what I would get a tattoo of if it's from One Piece. I always liked Chopper as character, but I don't think Chopper is my favorite character, so I don't know if I would get his flag. That's also
like a good question. Like, what would it be if you were to get a tattoo? The funny one I saw was Luffy just stretching his penis.
Yeah,
that shit was comedy. There's the Straw Hat Jolly Roger, you know, everybody usually gets.
Have you seen the tattoos of people who get like their arm and then like it's just Luffy stretching, and he's like doing a fist or something?
He's doing like Gear 3rd. Or something.
Yeah, and he's just doing the punch, you know. But like my funniest thing is like the people who comment and they say stuff like, you know, you can't jerk off with that hand anymore. It's something, man. When you want to get your hero tatted up on you, you know, you just gotta have proper arm placement or proper tat placement. That's what I would say. If they're gonna if they do another Pirate Warriors game, I'll probably buy it. I just hope that Gear 5 is not like such a shitty thing.
Man, with those kind of games, honestly, is that it's like the perfect AMV, because everybody has one in their head, and I like to think that's the same with like the One Piece Pirate Warrior games, where you want to play as Luffy, you want to go fucking Gatling on whoever the fuck, go Gear 5th whenever you want, and then just turn into an old man or whatever, like whatever the drawback was to using it. It's in my head, it's a lot better than what it looks like.
But I'm not going to say that for like every game. Like Gears of War has five or so spin-offs, and not spin-offs, but like sequels, and I can't really say that you should buy any of them after 3. I mean, 3 is a lot. It's 3 installments right there, but 2 is my favorite, but I mean, you don't get the end of a series with just 2 games, you know what I mean? So with 5 or 6 games that they made, and obviously with time and quality studios, like, you're not going to get the same score, they're not going to be perfect, you know. So I don't think that would apply legitimately every time. It would depend on what exactly we're talking about, like what kind of series.
Yeah, it depends on the game for sure.
Like even Final Fantasy 16, like this was probably one of their most successful ones in a long time, but it just took such a dump. Like, nobody, I feel like it's not even really a matter of nobody bought it. They just lost money on it. They lost like 20 mil on it.
I just bought it at Amoeba for $50 too.
They definitely took a hit, bro. I fucking love this game. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I feel like you might get the idea of like we're definitely going in a direction where you're being Square Enix is like trying to find something with this mothership that will basically make it last for another 16 games. And it's ridiculous to think that they're actually going to title Final Fantasy 32.
Like, there's going to be somebody like in that meeting saying, you really think we can take the Final Fantasy name and do it for 16 more times? And the majority of those people in the conference room, they all said, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Final Fantasy 32 sounds crazy, but crazy enough to work.
Every 3 games or so, they do a MMO, and I think that we're due. I think that's going to be the next one, because 11 was a MMO, then it was 12, 13, 14 was an MMO, then 15, 16, 17 should be an MMO. And this makes sense to me. Like, this format makes sense to me. I personally have not been on the MMO side other than the free trial they did a while back on the PS4 for Final Fantasy 14. In my personal opinion, this is like basically like the Destiny format. Like, we're going to give you a universe. Yeah. From this universe, we're going to add on expansions, universes, episodes, DLC, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, like, there doesn't really seem to be any other viable option than to just go that route. I don't know how many Final Fantasy, like, stories you can actually make 16 more times.
I don't know. Maybe, like, bring in the I know the multiverse exists in the Final Fantasy universe because it's all different universes, or some of it's different universes, others are, like, in the same one. But multiverse in those, the same people from a game. Like, you get the 4 Warriors of Light from Final Fantasy 1. It's like they're the Warriors of Darkness or something, and they're just the story from there can probably write itself.
Yeah,
instead of Warriors of Light, Warriors of Darkness.
Like, it just flips over every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I think with 3.
That can happen. I'd buy that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd fucking buy that shit. 3 had like the children as like
you were kids.
Job changing.
You're fucking orphans.
Job changing like fucking was introduced there too. I think.
Yeah, that's where they came out with Onion Knights. It was 3.
Yeah.
I was great, man. I remember, I think I was in 7th grade. Okay, here's what Square Enix does do correctly. Remakes. Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, 4, 5.
The remakes, like the cleaner ones?
Yeah. So the ones that they put on the DS and the 3DS, like, those are clean, bro. Like, they just totally, like, added new assets. They recreated the entirety of the whole game, dungeons and everything. Like, it was such a good game. I didn't beat 4 when they remade 4. I only got to like a specific part. They're focusing too much time on the wrong games though to remake. Like, they're remaking 7. 7 already has like 8 fucking games canonically. They have 2 movies, light novels. Like, I get it. You already started. Okay, so you might as well finish. But you wanted money. You wanted my money, bro. Like, let me tell you, if you've never played Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VI is a banger. Final Fantasy VI is a very, very incredibly, like, robust story. Kefka? It's Kefka, bro. Yeah, Kefka is so crazy. He's so much better than Sephiroth.
That so much. Like, that also another thing Square Enix does is, like, is the music choice for like most of the boss themes for some of these. Like the Cloud of Darkness boss theme still runs in my head most of the time. The Kefka one, like, dude, I was watching a video on watching a Justin Wang video on some weird shit happening on the internet, and one dude was talking about clowncore, right? And in the fucking background he put fucking Kefka's theme because some diabolical shit was happening in what he was explaining. I'm like, bro, this is so good. Like, the fact that I can recognize that theme anywhere, it's so good to me, dude.
It's so good.
It's so good.
That's exactly
good
what
on
I'm talking about.
FromSoft, Square Enix, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, dude. Like that's good music choice, good games too. Like you said, like I would love to see a 6 like remaster.
That was a rated M game. Like
honestly, 5 too, with the one with Bart's and Esdeath.
Yeah,
Exdeath.
Bart's. What is it? Bart's was an amnesiac and was he amnesiac? No,
I don't even
Bart's
know.
wasn't an amnesiac.
I want to know. I would play the remaster just to know the story, and look and how beautiful they would look. Honestly, because if everybody in 6 looks so pretty, or everybody in 7 looks so pretty in the remaster, dude, I want to see what Terra would look like.
I think 6 would probably be their biggest challenge, because the way that game plays out, there are, I think, 12 characters that you play as, not just like 4 or 5. Like, you get a lot of main characters, and there are people you can leave in, people you can leave out, just depending on your choices. That game, there's a lot to that. So I don't know if they're going to break it down into parts like they're going to do for 7, or God willing, if they're smart and they're secretly doing this right now, then good for you, Square. But like just compiling like one giant game, even if they feel like they have to do it in parts, like I wouldn't care if it's like more like a Telltale setup. You know, like here's episode 1 that we're releasing. Okay, now we'll release episode 2 and then episode 3.
Dude, but a Telltale Final Fantasy game.
That would probably work better for 6 than it would just remaking the entire game. Because 6 is a lot more plot based. Like there's a lot of plot. Yeah, there's a lot. Especially for like all the characters. There's a lot.
I had that vibe with Final Fantasy 2 as well.
I wanted to play a lot
of talking. It's fun. It's fun too. They're all fun. They're all a good time, honestly. I played 1, 2. I played a little bit of 2. I played 4. I beat it. 4 was fucking phenomenal. It's crazy, dude. Golbez, I love that guy.
Dude, a wayward elder brother, that Itachi figure. I got you. I got you. You know damn well the guy who made Naruto like played Final Fantasy 4 as a kid and was just like, this is definitely, I'm gonna make a character based off this Golbez guy. And that's Itachi. That was Itachi as fuck, dude. Man, like people get into like always recommend like oh, you should read JoJo. It's a very old manga. Neon Genesis, like all this. Like, nigga, you should play Final Fantasy. Like that's that old game. Like you're gonna learn some stuff, bro.
It's like there's not many games where I'm like somebody will tell me, hey, you should play this. I'll be like, oh, okay. Probably never will. But like if it's Final Fantasy, like I know 7, honestly, overrated. A lot of people talk about it a lot, and which kind of turns me off to it. But I'm sure if I play it, I'll probably love it. But like besides that one, if somebody tells me, hey, you should play the new one, then I'll more than likely just grab the new one, because that's what I did the other day. I grabbed it up because I found it like cheaper than it was, and I'm like, oh, this is a sign I have to play it, because I was talked to by Adam and he talked me into it.
You got the PS4 or the PS5 version with the DLC?
PS5.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my data when I played it on the PS4, but yeah, it's definitely a good game. Like when I played it, I had to force myself to play it at times, because I've already played Final Fantasy VII, at least the beginning of Final Fantasy VII, so many times that I have basically forced myself to just go through this plot. But the game does a really good job. The game does it justice. You're definitely doing more than anything else you've ever done before if you've never played it. So if this is your first time ever actually getting into it, then this is a good way for you to start.
It's my first time getting into a modernized Final Fantasy game.
No, just 7 specifically.
Oh,
you played 7 before? No, this is a good way for you to get into 7.
No, but that stands true too, though. That like the last one I played, the last Final Fantasy I played was maybe, I think, Dissidia, Duodecim
Game. I wish.
And even by that's not even a Final Fantasy game. It's a fighting game. You know damn well. After that, I didn't even touch any. I bought 13. It's just kind of sitting in my Steam library now, just like gathering dust.
Oh, I never even thought to play it on Steam, to be honest with you. You know what's a good one? You know it's a good one that you can play right now on PlayStation?
Which one?
12. 12 is a good game, dude.
That's the one with Vaughn.
With Vaughn, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I heard that one too. It was pretty fucking great.
Super quick side thing about Final Fantasy: the spin-off series, which is Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a very canon universe because they use this universe all the time, unlike all the other Final Fantasy games where they just keep scrapping universes. The world is called Ivalice in Tactics. And in Final Fantasy 12, you are also in the same universe, Ivalice. Yeah, so all of the races that you see, all of the spells, all of like the weapons, all of that stuff, like it's very familiar to you because, you know, like if you just picked up your Game Boy, like you could have played it. Final Fantasy Tactics is great too.
Look, I say I hate strategy games, but like I bought City Skyline, and that shit just straight up like planning. And I love that shit. So I don't know. maybe I'm coming around to it.
Download Disgaea. Give Disgaea a try. Disgaea 7 is the download, is the demo.
No, you just pushed me off the edge, dude. I was looking off the cliff. You just like, nah, just go all the way, dude.
Dude, just try it.
Oh, Disgaea.
We'll bring my cousin on here next time and we'll get his input. Let's try it too.
The Disgaea episode. Fuck. just try to like what do you call it? Just try to convince me to play Disgaea.
We should bring Adam on that episode too.
God, that's just gonna be me. Like I kind of don't get it, but I'll be like downloading it in the background or something.
See, you play it for the plot, not for the game. Yeah, the game is simple. It's like move here, chest, boom, boom, bam, bam, like easy peasy. The plot. That's why I play the game, bro, because that shit is crazy. Just so funny, dude. Yeah, it's a little bit of both, honestly. Like, Disgaea 1 was more funny than it was awe. Disgaea 2 was definitely a lot more awe than it was funny. 3, 4, and 5, they're good plots. Yeah, it's just really whatever your favorite is. It's not like you have to pick up any specific one. They're not, like, linear. Yeah, they're not sequential. Well, I mean, technically they are, but they don't interfere with each other. Like, you don't have to play the one before to know who this person is.
I just gotta know what a prinny is.
You just gotta know what, yeah, exactly. Just gotta know what a prinny is. And they explain that to you every single time. They have one on the Switch. Disgaea 6. Oh, yes, they do have one on the Vita. And Disgaea 3 and Disgaea 4.
Because I brought out my Vita and I played Hotline Miami and I beat it the other day. Shit was a fun game, first time.
I got the God of War games on my Vita, the remasters. I still have them downloaded, so assuming that my Vita will charge, I almost platinumed God of War 2. I already platinumed God of War 1.
I just like the Vita. I'm just gonna gush about the Vita real quick. I fucking love how small it is compared to like the fucking the Switch. Like I love the Switch. I love the compatibility. I love like the screen size and all that. But it's like I can't have both. I can't have my cake and eat it too. Like I can't. Honestly, I'm about to pull money together just to get a Steam Deck too, because I want a Steam Deck. Like too many, like beginning of the podcast we said, too many emulations. Like just get one to go. Like it might be as big. Is it like, I think it feels a little bit bulkier than the Switch, but the fact that I can play anything on it and it runs pretty smoothly, bruh.
You know, my one-stop shop for anything at that point. Like I don't think I would look for any other console if I had a Steam Deck. Because it'll play mostly anything, especially new things.
Thank you for listening. This is our comeback. Hopefully, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.